Picture this. A young man steps into a crowded bar on a spring night. He's 27, smiling, full of life, looking forward to the future. But when the night ends, the cameras show everyone leaving, everyone except him. He goes in, but never comes out. His name is Brian Shaffer, and his disappearance has haunted his family, his friends, and the world for almost 2 decades. Some mysteries are unsettling because of what we know, but this one is terrifying because of what we don't. Brian Shaffer wasn't just another medical student. He was the kind of person who walked into a room and lit it up. Friends describe him as funny, laid back, and the kind of guy who could instantly put you at ease. He was smart, determined, and hardworking, but he also carried this dreamer's heart. Music, especially Pearl Jam, was his escape. He once told a friend he could see himself living on a beach, playing guitar under the stars. But Brian's life hadn't been easy. Just weeks before his disappearance, he lost his mother to cancer. To those who knew him best, it was a devastating blow. His father, Randy, remembered Brian trying to stay strong for everyone else. He'd smile, he'd joke, he'd say he was okay, but I could tell he was hurting. Despite the grief, Brian was pushing forward. He had plans with his girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, who he was deeply in love with. They had a trip to Miami coming up, a chance to get away, to breathe. Friday, March 31st, 2006. It was the start of spring break. After finishing an exam, Brian decided to celebrate. That night, he went out with his best friend, Clint Florence. Later, another friend, Meredith Reed, would join them. Their last stop was the Ugly Tuna Salona, a lively bar near campus. The rain poured outside, but inside the Ugly Tuna, music pounded, laughter echoed, and people packed together to escape the storm. For Brian, it was just a night out with friends, something normal, something light after weeks of heaviness. No one could have imagined it would be his last night seen alive. The hours ticked by. Brian laughed, drank, and seemed to be enjoying himself. Hit that subscribe button if you want to know more dark truths. At one point, cameras caught him outside the bar, chatting with 2 young women. He was swaying a little, clearly buzzed, but he was still that same easygoing Brian, smiling, charming, alive. Around 1:55 a.m., the woman later recalled, Brian said goodbye and turned back toward the bar. And that's it. That's the last time anyone saw him. The bar closed at 2 a.m. Patrons began leaving in waves. Surveillance cameras show them all, the crowd spilling out, faces captured one by one. But Brian, he's never seen walking out. When the lights came up and the music died down, Clint and Meredith looked for him. They called his phone, checked the bathrooms, even waited outside. Nothing. Eventually, thinking maybe he'd slipped out on his own, they left. The next morning, Alexis called Brian. No answer. She tried again. And again. Hours passed. Then she realized Brian had missed their flight to Miami. That's when she knew something was terribly wrong. Detectives dove into the case quickly, and what they found made no sense. The Ugly Tuna had one main way in and out, an escalator to the street below, watched by cameras. And Brian wasn't on the footage. Not leaving. Not anywhere. Police scoured the building. They checked stairwells, service exits, construction areas. They searched dumpsters, rooftops, even dragged nearby rivers. Nothing. It was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. Then came the phone. Days later, Alexis dialed Brian again. This time, the phone rang several times before going to voicemail. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, she thought maybe he was out there. Maybe he was alive. But the phone company brushed it off as a glitch. Still, Alexis never gave up. She left messages, her voice breaking, "I love you, Brian. Please come back." Detectives began questioning everyone close to him. Clint, the friend who was with him that night, refused a polygraph and stopped talking to police. His lawyer insisted he had nothing to hide. Meredith, on the other hand, cooperated fully and passed a polygraph. As for Alexis, she was shattered. Friends remember her saying she couldn't imagine a life without Brian. Theories swirled. Did Brian leave on his own? Did he get lost in the construction and die tragically, undiscovered? Or did someone want him gone? Brian's case is full of eerie, heartbreaking details. His father, Randy, never stopped searching. He poured his soul into finding his son, only to die 2 years later in a tragic accident. In his obituary, Brian's name was still listed as missing. For the family, Grief doubled into something almost unbearable. Then came the cruel hoaxes. On Randy's online memorial page, someone posted, "Brian is alive, living in hiding. He doesn't want to be found." Police traced it to a local computer, but it was just a twisted prank. To this day, the two most common theories remain. Some believe Brian stumbled into a restricted construction zone and was hidden or lost forever. But with all the searches, why has nothing been found? Others believe Brian wanted to escape his pain, his studies, maybe even his life, and vanished. But why would he abandon his girlfriend, his brother, and a future he had worked so hard for? And then there's the darker possibility that someone, somewhere, knows exactly what happened that night, but has never spoken. Almost 20 years later, Brian's disappearance still hurts. His brother Derek has said, if Brian chose to leave, that's his decision. But if something happened to him, we deserve the truth. Online forums dissect every frame of surveillance, every interview, every lead. Strangers feel the ache of his story, the frustration of its unanswered questions. And Alexis? For years she kept Brian's number active, just in case. She even said, "I still call him. I still leave messages. I don't know if anyone listens, but I can't stop." That's what makes this case so haunting. Brian wasn't just a name in a headline. He was a son, a brother, a boyfriend, a friend. Someone loved. Someone missed. Someone who walked into a bar on a rainy night and was never seen again. Brian's story isn't just about a mystery. It's about how fragile life is, how quickly everything can change, and how silence can be louder than answers. Maybe one day, the truth will come out. Until then, the question lingers. Where is Brian Shaffer? What do you think happened? Leave your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button if you want to know more dark truths.